Meg Griffitts is a poet and educator from Aurora, Colorado. Her work has appeared in White Stag, Crab Bat, Hypertrophic, Blaze Box, and others. She collects rocks, succulents, and cookbooks. Her favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip. Thanks.
Hello. Okay, so my first poem is actually going to be from the Ice Cream Social Anthology, which I'm still so grateful to Nora and Chandra for being part of. Thank you. Yeah, let's do this. Prevention is the best self-defense. Also, fair warning, starting dark and getting lighter. So. Right. The soul, like semen, escapes the body swiftly. Eduardo C. Corral. Street lamps serenade me, speechless. Find each curve of his name, Guillermo. Pretend each letter is a lever. Translate my wardrobe's warbling into the hum of a diver rising too fast. Pressure burrowing into cocoon ears like static. Pin down moonshade as offering for the frenzy of snow angels. Tell me how pleasure is a hologram. Try to recall those classes that move. Monkey grip, hips up, roll over. Step 1, drown your cunt daily in chloroform. Step 2, plant palm trees in your belly button. Step 3, don't be alarmed when your clitoris crystallizes. Step 4, paper mache your brain. Step 5, be grateful for the white spaces and chokeholds. Step 6, hold heat you can see. Okay, so my second one is called A Day in the Life of a Hot Mannequin. A Day in the Life of a Hot Mannequin. I sit eye level with the last town you'll abandon me for, a portal of departure and a penny fountain. In other worlds, we have the same likelihood of drowning, but we both know the self is a fitted sheet, no larger than the toll that fits it, a girl inside a church bell. What's there to do but keep ringing? An apartment complex sits on the brink of its own hunger, swinging its legs over the edge. Down below, steam rises like a velvet halo. The crust of my sentences wait on a table. An old man picks at their hollow bellies, grumbling like a train unsure of its cargo. They might be you. They could be anyone. A mannequin burning up in their own stasis, offensive windows, a figure peering out of a frozen lake, too far away to discern the unbroken line of a forehead or an egg balancing on a blue bowl. Is it life or lifeless to plunge? I tend to someone else's memories like a lover or child clutching the tin of my legs, eyes glossy as a widow, a spider in white light, a dummy gesture of restraint. I was taught to cut away from the body, but in here everything has a mind of its own. Something's come to take my head, a question of utility dangling on a hook. Someone presses against the door. The stream is less frequent now, but it never fails to pressurize the twilight, making a funeral out of the sky. Have you ever thought to yourself, if I don't do anything, this will be my first murder? It's giving me like band camp real vibes right now. So the next one is a sequence poem, out of order, but I watched a lot of House of Haunting Hill, and I've read a lot of Shirley Jackson in the past few months. So this is a poem in 4 parts about different horror movie tropes. So I'll just bounce around. Okay, death by sex. We separate like fat from cooling meat, uncoupled toward a silver destiny, hi-ho in medias res. A strawberry perches in a slack jaw, illuminating a meadow of ruby fruit. You're hanging on to this view like a satellite, as a crown of petrified wood emerges from unmoving water. Swimming in the front seat as you bite my neck, and the candy apple with its razor wanderings. This is the youngest I'll ever be. The vengeful spirit. Light as a feather, stiff as a slide of glass in midair or the word of God. The body stills before the mind until a cold spell passes, as I remember giving the smaller ghosts a dollhouse to practice haunting. Up-and-comers coming up the hallway, does it always take this long to figure out? We manifest our destiny in secret frequencies of fortune and failure in attics the size of easy-bake ovens. The first time you heard Heartbreaker, gravity bent its head back to laugh. The final girl. A trick. We hide the whites of our eyes as quick as a cold snap, a forecast of black open spaces. We double, toil, and trouble our long shadows into a narrow line. Chutes and ladders logic. Nightfall takes apart the furniture again. The audience plays dead before we can, to find out finally how much truth there is to a runner's high in the abandoned place. A forked road sparkles like a stampede, the faint whiff of a watering hole of animals grunting in one tone, hooves grunting against the heel of your vision. The body rocks back and forth. A clock chimes and the tourniquet of childhood tightens its grip until common sense dawns a deathhood. We all know who to call mother of the evening, howling at the moon of wet cement, understanding little of parallels while skipping into the moonlight like stones, the suits of candy stripers and butchers mistaken for kites fluttering at the end of a long path. All the curious boys and girls seep out of bite-sized shoes and disappear into a man's world. Okay, so I have two more on the up and up. So the first one is called Ode to My Body. And this is after Gabrielle Calvacresi. She came to Texas State, I don't know when, sometime in the past year, but does a lot of like voice work, and really made me really reevaluate my relationship to joy and writing. Yeah, so Ode to My Body. My pussy is fat like mango and twice as bright. My tits are checking out the periphery, they're crawling towards the door, they're losing their cool looking for bad guys. My thighs are beet red and obsessed with beatings and marking detonations while these life lessons get drunk in a bar. Speaking of my throat, it's always thirsty, like the root it is and my belly won't keep quiet. My fingers keep itching into spires, which could be a blade or a slender stem depending on how you pray, because I'm that good. I like waking up to my hands, perennial like silver leaves, sleepless in my hair. Oh, I know you're waiting for a heart, but my throat is all apple and bad behavior. It outshines any garden, wouldn't you say? I taste like drinking from a hose in summer's mouth, my first metallic crush. My ass is vinyl, and it keeps a tally of those who've moved against me, rendering spindles into stalks of lemongrass. Oh, my heart is a stone fruit, but that's not why you came. You came for my tongue. Okay, and this last one is the newest one that I've written, and probably my most hopeful. So it's called Making Out in a Field of Magnets, or The Night the City Was a Nickel and You Were a Dime. I couldn't see anything but shimmying, in a sleeping bag in melting snow, or another word hanging off my tongue like a needle. I was sick over the fall, finally bending its knees, so thirsty for a sheet or a cap to muffle the sound of trains passing. Did you know it's the first response of ice to bend under pressure? So I kneeled. Like a rose garden, pink and full of promise, plump with futures and middle fingers. My body became a breakaway wand, and I started looking at the world through a donut hole, glazed and never really full. You cracked a window, but the steam stayed, rusting tiny figurines that held in black boxes. Oh, how bottomless, the cool side of your pillow and the pile of suckers under your bed clicking like lost beetles. You said we can't hear them because they can't swim. I should have known then, when my brow line anchored a mooring buoy caressing the ocean's dark fist, or when I thought to tell you about pineapple upside down cake because it reminded me of your teeth. Every yellow loop the same shape as that morning when the smoke peeled back. I should have known when you held me like a highway, goosebumps rustling like birds on a wire, stirring with common stars until the lights went out. My desire is an animal my gut could never be. Still, I stalk you with the heart of a spider looking skyward, watching for my fox in the grove, the shape of red, a raw nerve, as I long for the glimpse of how you walk out of the static into a huckleberry bush. I do keep certain things to myself. I do. Thank you.